Crevonte, these wide receivers, bigger, stronger, faster. We got another one here. Malik Nabers.
Yes. And he was on that star-studded team of LSU. And he reminds me of a former LSU Tiger as well.
Yes, Malik Nabers, 6 feet tall, 600 pounds, out of Youngsville, Louisiana, junior. He, in 2021's freshman All SEC first team, 11 games with 417 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. 2022 led the SEC with 72 receptions, second with 1,017 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Played in all 14 games, 11 starts. In 2023, first team All American, first team All SEC finalist for the Biletnikoff Award, which went to Marvin Harrison Jr., second in FBS with 1,569 receiving yards, and third with 14 receiving touchdowns, 89 receptions, led the SEC, started all 13 games, set a school record with 189 career receptions, and he did play the first half of their bowl game to set the school record with 3,003 receiving yards, beating Josh Reed. He did sit out the second half as well because of that. Well, Crevonte, LSU boy, they got receivers, much like we saw with Ohio State with Marvin Harrison.
Absolutely. So very I couldn't tell. He was, I think he was the number one guy, but they have another guy too that we'll talk about later. But as far as Malik Neighbors, very good burst and very explosive route running, and it has it's where it's like he shifts gears almost seamlessly, and he is going to be a nightmare for DBs. Wildly athletic, physical receiver, possessing a versatile skill set. Very good yak. You know how we like the yak yards, man. Yards have to contact, yards have to catch. High end athlete, natural vision, um, quick, flexible route running, can sink and burst out of routes with ease. Good ball tracking skills. Like I said before, that's not an easy thing to do. Um, with tracking the ball when you're deep down the field. Like I was saying, very physical, great awareness and timing. Um, Him and Jaden Daniels made some. It was some good, entertaining football to watch. Them LSU Tigers play again, and yeah, he reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson, who plays plays for the Minnesota Vikings. Y'all are aware he was one of the top guys along with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow for the 2019 wild LSU Tigers team that we still talk about to this day. Arguably one of the better college football single season college football teams possibly ever. But Malik Neighbors, he's a hell of a prospect. He closed the gap a little bit from what we thought earlier this year between him and Marvin Harrison Jr. to now. The gap has closed. I don't think it's head and shoulders anymore.
What are some of the weaknesses, strengths, weaknesses, and you mentioned Justin Jefferson, pro comp, strengths, weaknesses, and where do you think he could go if Marvin Harrison is wide receiver one? Where does Neighbors, is he number two, and where could you see him going?
Yeah, yes, I can see him at number two. But number two is kind of open. I think the consensus is Marvin Harrison Jr., but number two is pretty open between Malik Neighbors and Romo Dunze. But I'm not gonna fight you if you say Malik Neighbors number two. I can legit see that who knows, he's possibly the reason why Jaden Daniels was able to be, who he did who he became, which is possibly catapulted him from fourth or fifth round grade to the potentially the second overall pick. I think Malik Neighbors had a thing or two to say about that. But as far as negatives, his release package could use a little work. He wastes a lot of time instead of a lot of wiggle instead of just getting upfield. You can't do it at the next level because the pass rush is coming. Um, Typically, you got about 3 seconds to get rid of the ball before one of them D linemen, D ends, D tackles get a hand in your face, on your body, and forces you to move. So now the route that Malik Nabers was originally running is no longer open. Um, Inconsistent with attacking the ball in traffic. Um, yeah, and that is it's not a long list. Similar to Marvin Harrison Jr. The list is not crazy long. He's going to bring a lot to a team, and he's probably going to be a top 10 pick as well. The Giants are there. The Titans, even though I think the Titans may go O line, but the Titans are there. But Will Levis could always use more help. And of course, the Chicago Bears at 9. So I think somewhere in there, Malik Nabers can go. And I think depending on what the Giants are going to do, are they going to reach for another quarterback, or are they going to have a legit weapon on the roster? So and he can follow in the steps of another former LSU Tiger in Odell Beckham if he goes to the Giants. So Malik Nabers is a great, great, great talent. And not that many weaknesses. I think the couple weaknesses I talked about can be coached up, but he brings a lot of explosiveness to the table, which reminds us of how all the LSU Tiger wide receivers are. They do great in open field, hard to get a hold of, hard to get your hands on them, and the yak yards are through the roof. So Malik Nabers can be he's a wide receiver too.
Yeah, don't rule out Atlanta at number 8 or Chicago at 9. We know Atlanta loves to add weapons offensively. Even with Kirk Cousins now, another receiver won't hurt. The
Nope.
Bears and the Jets at 10. You know, they going all in this year because it's basically the end for them if they don't get it done.
Right.
So Neighbors, man, it'll be interesting to see. And who you said Justin Jefferson pro comp? I like that. I
Yep.
like that.
Yep. I don't see him or Romo Dunze. I think they're both top 10 guys. I think they're both going to be picked in the top 10.
We could have 3 quarterbacks and possibly 3 receivers in the top 10,
Top 10.
Crevonte.
Right.
That would be crazy, man. It's an offensive league. Any final thoughts on Malik Neighbors?
He looks like your typical LSU Tiger wide receiver. Explosive. If I could choose one word to describe Malik Nabers, it's explosive.
Well, we're blowing up here on the Flex Zone. More draft coverage, Crevonte. Only place giving you those draft profiles how you want it.
When you need it.
We'll be back with more on our path to the draft.